Power target trades, power trigger trade. Alright people, in this plan I'm going to be talking about, in this update I will first explain about AAPl plan and then the HD plan. First of course will be Apple. Let's get to Apple. So Apple failed to confirm my last plan that I posted this weekend. But this is making things easier with much less risk. You know, today, I mean, they magically popped this up. It started off low, they popped it up. But the nice thing about this is now it's created a better entry point now, and I'm going to talk about this though. But the key will be confirmation. Now, the same thing. We want to use the October 06 152.5 calls are great to use. Targets are 156 to 157. It's a good chance they can come up here. Now, you know, like I said, doesn't mean that Apple is going to go straight up, but we're going to go through. There's going to be a good chance if we could confirm here, these could be the lows where the most they're going to want to bring Apple down is to about 148. Of course, there's going to be games to be played and everything, but right now as it stands, if we could confirm this will be a very good sign, and that's why we want confirmation, because without confirmation you're guessing pretty much. You know, no one really knows anything, but confirmation, I can tell you, does help a lot. So Apple, I will explain the entry facts inside the video. Confirmation will be key. A great high odds setup here on confirmation. All right, people. So the first thing we want to do is we want to see Apple show some power with about 6 million on a 10-minute chart as it tries to break above 152. Now, if we get some good volume as we're trying to break 152, that's the beginning point, 152. If at 152 we don't have that volume, seems low, what I would do was watch for some basic above 152, and we will look for some power towards 152.25, 152.50. Okay, even really it can go all the way up depending on the action, right up to that 153 area that I'm talking about. But one of the key areas is 152 should be between 152 and 152.5 should be a good actionary zone, and one good sign would be volume. You know, if there's anything in this case, one thing I can tell you, especially today, that within the first 10 minutes, okay, when Apple did open up lower, there was an up move which had 6.5 million. This is why I'm giving you that volume example. So, and when it had that 6.5 million, though it didn't break above a key point, it proves that that kind of volume created stability in the price. And so for if we can break above 152 with that kind of volume, that would increase our odds dramatically. Okay, instead of them that they try to go up a bit and then they come back and they try to test these lows again, that could happen. But with confirmation, we can increase our odds that if we can confirm properly, that we can go and test these targets, and these options can make 100% gains, if not more. Okay. Of course, HD is a much better setup in terms of a true breakout stock, but that even has to confirm. So these two stocks, I put them together because they'll be very interesting. Let's say Apple confirms, and can HD confirm as well, right? So that'll be the key. So these stocks are to watch, and this area is a watch area. So this entry point that I'm talking about, if we can't confirm, could be still something to watch to confirm days after. This 152 to 152.5 area. Let's go talk about HD, and then we're going to talk about the options for both HD and Apple. All right, people. So here I have a plan here for HD. Before I talk about this plan, the thing about this plan was this stock was looking good at around this time. The first time we entered this, we caught this great move. At least the majority of this move from here, right from the 152 area, was this day over here, right around here, right before this day, and we caught this nice move here in Home Depot. The second time we went into this, they pulled it back a little bit too much. However, look at this. If simply holding those original calls today, they gained money. Now the difference is that we have a much better alignment. However, I still want to see power and pressure because I don't want it. Because the thing about this stock is I'm going to talk about this. So we'll talk about this now. So HD is set up to test 167 to 170. The October 20 162.5 calls are great to use, okay? HD needs to break above. Now I will explain the key facts inside the video of what I'm looking for. I spelled this wrong, but looking for, just add another O here, right? Looking for along with key supports. Just fast typing that I do, but it doesn't matter because if you're paying attention to the video, you're going to hear everything, even the options, why I'm choosing the options, so on and so forth, okay? Now, so what am I looking for? Well, one of the things is the reliable, I want to see some, I mean, we did get some extra volume coming in, and I like the way they closed. However, this is an area of trouble in the past. And so what we really need is what kind of volume is there as it breaks above starting from 162.5. Or so, for example, if I was to go long HD on a break of 161.5, I want at least 1 million. Now, if we don't get that volume at 161.5, we'll have to watch for what kind of power there is towards 162. Does the volume come in at least, let's say, with at least 600K as it breaks above 162? So I'll be watching that level as well. And if the volume can come in there, then that could be an entry point. So you've got 161.5, 162, right up through 162.5. These are key areas of power because if this stock really wants to run, okay, it can confirm. Now, even if it tries to confirm without the volume, it does the price power. The problem is, can they come and test 161 or 160 again? They sure can. That's the reality of this. So the nice thing about these calls this time is we want to try to get the right kind of power here because that's the tricky thing about it. If we get the right kind of power, it increases our odds that we won't have to go through that holding period. Because I went into something called Caterpillar as I exited the HD last time and made up my gains and then some, and it was a very solid move. The difference is that Caterpillar's pattern was better alignment. This one is good, but it still requires, there's still that iffy power in that 161.5 to 162.5. It's the way it is. But if it's very solid in those areas, that becomes, it really puts us in a good place to get into these October 20 162.5 calls. Let's go take a look at the options. All right, the first things we're gonna look at is Apple. Apple today closed at 150.55, down 134. Now look at, we've got the October 6th. Now here's the beauty of these 152.5 calls. Okay, on Friday they were in the $2 area, so they're cheaper. They lost some value, but look at this trading in here. Tons of trading, lots of options volume here. You can see that the open interest on Friday, like I said, was at 1.8. Now look at this, the volume today exceeding the open interest of yesterday. The same with the 155s. Like I said, to make the highest probability, you want to use the 152.5 calls a minimum. In other words, to make sure you're going to make some gains in this, or minimize it, or small losses at worst. Okay. Because that's the way it is. This is a reversal setup now. However, I mean, the odds, in my opinion, if we could confirm properly, like the instructions I explained in this video, these options are going to be great. Now, these options I project could confirm in around 210 to 230 area. It could be less, but within that range is an approximation. If they could confirm this tomorrow, if and again I say if they do, great. Now, that's what that's the expense of these. Again, these are more than 1 week out, so there's plenty of time. Apple is being decimated lately. Okay, destroying a lot of my support levels very quickly. However, this is the way they're playing it, so there's a good chance they're going to give it a nice bounce to the areas that I say, and then it'll be the fluctuation. It doesn't mean it'll be perfectly smooth, but the way they pulled this back to get to those areas with the signal confirmation is a high odds, right, that we'll make some great gains. If the action isn't correct, we can always exit for small profits and move on. However, we'll take it day by day, step by step. So that's the thing about Apple. Let's talk about HD. So here we are with HD. It was able to close at 161.10, very strong today. This is a different type of stock going on different merits. Let's see here. One second here. All right, so the HD options are okay. The 162.5. Now the interesting thing was today, The open interest wasn't that great from yesterday. You can see that these 160s still tons of great open interest. The same thing with the 165. So the one thing about HD options, they're trading really well. Again, the 162.5 calls. The 162.5 calls, they're trading well. You can see today, I can tell you, I was looking at these calls and they started off very light, 200, 150 options were traded. And as the day escalated, these options increased dramatically. As you can see, 1,272 contracts traded. But what's interesting, as you can see, is the 160s, a lot of open interest there and a lot of open interest there. Okay. And again, it doesn't really matter. This open interest is increased, and these do trade very well with very tight spreads. You know, I've watched the spreads, to be honest. That's a little wide. It's showing 12 cents. However, I watched them personally with a 3-cent, 4-cent spread when it's serious in trading. So again, HD is something really to watch. It's a strong setup. However, what I want to see is what kind of power is in that area. It's a high odds setup. Definitely, they're looking to take this higher, but it is what it is. There is a possibility they can still play some more games. So we're going to have to look for that good confirmation. Alright people, welcome to Power Target Trades, the place where I post great detailed plans. You know, like I said, people here, confirmation is key, study the videos, visit daily. Confirmation is key. It really does help. When we assume and we guess, sometimes we get lucky. You know, we get in a little bit earlier to try to save a few bucks. But you know what? My stats show it's not worth it most of the time. Even today, I decided to not even go in with my original order. My original order was we waited for a 155.30 break. It was looking good, but it never broke above 155.30, the Facebook. So it ended up pulling back more than anticipated due to the market negativity. Of course, waiting for confirmation would have simply avoided all that. Just as a great example. The same with Apple. Apple could not confirm it. It looked good. When it went to 152, it looked really great today. But then they pulled it back. So again, we want to wait for confirmation with Apple. I think Apple is a great stock to watch for confirmation. And what's a great thing to do is study this created playlist. A lot of great wealth of videos and information here. These are stocks that confirm plans from start to end. They're great examples. And right now we're in market conditions where really confirmation is even more key. And we're talking about volume and price action combinations. Things can change on the dime, and that is the thing. And again, there's some interesting stocks. One stocks that I did mention was FedEx as well. A great setup still. You're going to want to listen to that update. Everything applies to that one still right over here, FedEx. It's in this plan over here. So there you have, people, a great update. It's easy to subscribe. It's a great channel to subscribe to right over here. You can do that manually after the videos, or you can do it with inside the video. Let's see what I say. I'll show you how. Alright people, now that we just finished watching that great detailed video, don't forget to look at my banner. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you check out my creative playlist. Make sure you study before taking action on Power Target Trades. Every plan that I make has great detailed instructions. And I put my heart and soul in it because I want my subscribers and followers to make great money in the markets. But you have to study, people. Now let me show you a way to subscribe. Let's see a picture of me around here in a circle format. Simply click on it and it's going to give you an easy way to subscribe. Don't forget, people, at the end of the video to like the video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like